Hey everyone, welcome to our first episode of Women Entrepreneurs Sharing Their Journeys to learn from, motivate, and inspire each other. This series is going to be recorded live on Facebook every week. I am your host, Vivian Stacy. Stay tuned for a very exciting first episode with a very special guest, Brandy Moon Faven. Welcome to our first episode. So happy to finally be doing this. So just to give you guys a little background before we jump into the actual interview with Brandy, my name is Vivian and I help women entrepreneurs use social media to get their services or products in front of as many people as possible. So about a year ago, I created a Facebook group for women entrepreneurs to network in a way that I believe is more effective than spamming one another. And after a while, I realized that the ladies in the group were responding a lot better to the more authentic introduction posts, the posts that went deeper into who the person behind the Facebook profile is or behind the business is. And eventually, when the group was picking up steam and was going to reach 10,000, I wanted to find a way to celebrate and thank the most active and authentic members in the group. So I came up with the idea to interview them live so that they could have a chance to talk about, their journeys and their business, where they're at, and share whatever bits of knowledge that they picked up along the way with us. So our first guest, I'm very happy to have Brandy Moon Faven. Welcome, Brandy.
Hi, thanks. I'm so excited to be here with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Okay. Let me know if that changes at all.
Okay. So we've already tried this once. We tried it a few months ago, and it was a complete disaster.
It was.
All thanks to me, because I was traveling, and it was a combination of internet connection and the app that I was trying to use at the time for the broadcast. But
we've gotten to know each other. We've gotten to know each other in the meantime, and that's been really nice.
Yes, we have. So it's kind of bittersweet right now, because it's like, okay, now I'm not going to be able to have these calls with Brandy anymore.
No, I think we can just keep doing interviews like once a month. It'll be fun. We'll pick a topic or something. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so Brandy, so you want to go ahead and start with,
Well, let me tell you who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
My name is Brandy Moon Faven, and I've recently pivoted in my business a little bit. I keep going more and more and more into my authentic self, and it feels better. It feels good. And so I'm finally claiming my, hey, there's our names. That looks great. I love it. I'm finally claiming a title that actually has always felt really good to me, and that is a spiritual intuitive coach. For whatever reason, I didn't want to put that out there for the longest time, and I was trying to skirt around it, but that's the real deal. I'm a spiritual intuitive coach. That's where I coach people authentically from. And I work with women who have an intuitive sense and may or may not be aware of that. But they're being called to something for a greater meaning in their life, their lifestyle, or their career. Something's just calling them. Something's drawing them forward, because I know what that feels like. I've had that intuitive pull at various times throughout my entire life. And honestly, I've always followed it, and it's always been the right thing. But I'm just starting to realize that that's what I've been doing all this time. And in the times when I have resisted that or logically thought my way around that is when I've found myself in not the greatest circumstances. And so I really like to work with women that are in this space that recognize that something's pulling them forward, but maybe they're not sure how their family is going to think about it. Or maybe they think, am I having a midlife crisis? Or am I too old for this? Or, how do I do this? How do I even do this? Is this even possible? And so I like to connect women to that intuitive sense. Like, that's what this is talking to you. This is your higher self. This is your intuitive sense talking to you, telling you that there is something more, because it wouldn't be pulling at you if it wasn't trying to get your attention. And so I like to help women get connected to that and see and learn how they can trust it and start moving through that intuitive sense in their life and or their career, whatever it is that's speaking to them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about like what it was like for you, like before you actually came to this place where you are. Like,
Huh.
what did you start off as, or when did you realize first of all that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or do start your own business?
I don't think I've ever discovered that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, because that sounds really freaking scary. But I did probably about a decade ago. I had a moment of grace, a coming of um, truth. I've lived in Colorado for about 17 or 18 years now. And I moved out here to really get into the ski culture and the ski bum lifestyle. And I did that effectively for a long time. And I loved it, and it was wonderful. And about 10 years ago, I found myself in a bit of a funk. I was not quite going the direction that I had seen for myself. To put it frankly, I was just partying too much. I was drinking. I was like the things to excess. And I wasn't really feeling very good about my life or about anything. And I kind of took a complete right-hand turn. I had a moment of grace, like, this has to stop and this has to change. And I sought out the people and the resources and the help that I needed at the time, and hit the stop and changed directions all at once. And when I did that, I came after a period of time, I came back in touch with my spiritual nature, which had always been there. My spiritual essence had always been there. I was very in touch with it in my early 20s, kind of got away from it in my mid 20s, and came back to it in my mid 30s. And I was being called to more meaning, just right around that 35-year mark. It's like, is this what I'm doing? Is this really what I'm doing? So I kind of got myself put back together. And then I started looking at, within a couple, 2 or 3 years, I started looking more at okay, what do I want to put out in the world? Like, what do I do here? Do I have a purpose? Is there a meaning for my life, for my existence? How do I give? And, I really love personal development and spiritual growth. Like, I started to find as the years went on that I was attending, my vacations were more and more of retreats or classes or this or that. I went back to college for another degree in mind body transformational psychology at the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts in Tempe, Arizona. And when I graduated with that degree in 2015, I was going to start my business as I'm not even sure, a holistic wellness practitioner. And but I had all these amazing tools and pieces, but I didn't have a clear direction of how I would use them, who I helped, what I did. It's just, I have all these tools and here I am ready to go. And I had this long time job. And so I had all this, financial security and stable job. And I thought, I'll build my business on the side. And as my business picks up, I'll move out of that. And that just really wasn't the reality. That didn't happen, because after working full time in the work week, I didn't want to come home and work on a business, because it's hard and it takes a lot of work, and you got to get yourself out there and all the things. And I didn't have the energy for it. And after 18 months, of a trickling business, I let it go. And then that started a whole new thing. I went to Peru on a plant medicine retreat, thinking I would come back with all the answers. And I came back with a lot of work to do. And I went back again a year later to get aligned with my life purpose. This was just 15 months ago, 16 months ago. And I did on that visit to Peru, working with the plant medicines on a retreat. I was very clear when I left that what I had always thought was my path was in fact my path. And I committed to it in that moment. It's like, whatever I have to do, whatever it takes, I'm going to finally get this business up and running. And I came home, and within a week, I lost my job of 17 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow.
And there it started. I had a choice in that moment, panic and do the thing like, oh my God, I got to find another job. But I took time. I took time to heal and reflect and look back on things and see, okay, there's a reason this all lined up and happened the way it did. What do I want to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if there's ever a time, it's now. And I did that. And I've met so many women that have been in that same sort of circumstance, like where they unexpectedly left or lost a job and they decided like, okay, if there was ever a time, it's now. And so I did. And I took time. I took time though for myself. I took time to heal. I took time to reflect and gather the learnings and the lessons and all the things of what did I just do for so many years. And I think it's been about 16 months now, and it has been quite the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, before you started the journey, like when you were in between, you said you had to take some time and, figure out inside for yourself, I guess, but it's like we were talking about a couple of days ago before our call, when that never ends really, like the internal work, even when you become an entrepreneur, like that's becoming an entrepreneur, starting this journey or going on this journey is a complete different kind of awakening we were talking about.
Oh my gosh. I have grown more in the last year as a human in the flesh and as a spiritual being inside that human than I ever thought was possible. I face my biggest fears every single day. I have to do all the mindset work. I have to do all the stuff. I have to keep myself on schedule. I have to figure out what I need. What do I need to stay on track? What do I need to stay in a healthy mindset, and I'm just learning so much and expanding so much, and it is scary, no doubt about it. And I also, every day I check in and go, is this right? And it's like, yeah, this is right. And it's scary. So one of the biggest things I've learned is that like, just because there's fear doesn't mean it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Fear does not equal bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Like, I would say to anyone, don't ever think that fear equals that you've made a bad decision. I think fear is a natural part of any kind of diving into something new, unknown territory, a new aspect of yourself that you've never looked at before, a new part of your life, a new journey, a new relationship, anything. And it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just part of the deal of making that move. But then the alternative is like not being in fear and being comfortable and really not growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did that for a really long time, and it wasn't satisfying to my soul. And this is so much more satisfying, even though some days it's like crying with God. Like, what am I doing? Is this the right thing? Have I made the right decision? But back to that intuition piece, the piece that I believe in so much. I check into that space, that deep space in there, and I know the answer is always there. And it's like, yep, nope, this is right. It was a scary as hell day, but this is right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And like you were saying, there, someone that's, making six figures and they're still going through this. And it's never ending, I mean, it's always going to be like questioning, is what I'm doing right? Is But you're right. Like you have to. It's a lot of internal work, like going back, like removing yourself from everything and going and checking inside. A lot of internal work.
Yeah, and especially, I think one of the things I come up against, and I'm sure some other women here will be able to relate to it, and maybe you, because I know you had a job, a job where you worked for someone
Hmm.
for a long time, and I come up against like, wow, I have the freedom to create whatever I want, and I find that I create my own boxes to put myself in that don't
Hmm.
exist, that don't need to be there, and so I'm learning how to break out of these boxes
Hmm.
where there used to be rules and ways that you did things, and now it's like my intuition is the rule.
Yeah.
And I do that so well in like my life, and now I have to learn how to do that in my business. It's a whole different shift. It's a
Yeah.
whole different shift. Um, but yeah, like you were saying, I do know a bunch of women. I have an amazing tribe, and that's one of the things I think is really important is to find your tribe of women
Hmm.
that are like-minded, that are doing the same thing, and women that are doing it better than you, of course, because you want to be able to look at their successes and their failures and draw the parallels for yourself. And I haven't talked to a single person that told me they don't go through this. Honestly, I could name anyone that's just beginning or anyone that's making six figures and they say, yeah, I still go through that on a regular basis. It's just at a different level. It's just a new level of up level from
Hmm.
when I started. So the up
Yeah.
level never stops. And so I looked at this the other day and I was like, man, I really chose the challenging path, didn't I?
Yeah. But in the end, hopefully, it will be rewarding and all worth it.
Well, I think it is so rewarding to serve in a way that feels right and aligned with who we are. I mean, that's what we're here to do. I think we're here to figure out what our gifts and our talents are,
Hmm.
um, and then share that in the world in a way that we can help other people however we're designed to help them.
Yeah.
And there's never and that's the thing that's really cool about it that I've kind of figured out is there is no such thing as like too many coaches or too many copy coaches or too many business coaches because you're going to go after the person that you resonate with.
Right.
And so that's no different than dating. There's tons of um, people that you would resonate with out there.
Yeah.
And so the more coaches, the better because all these different people to choose from, and you can find the exact right person to help support you on your
Yeah.
path.
Hmm. Yeah, whether it's a coach or anything that you see that you want to start. If you want to start a business and you see somebody else already doing it, it's I don't think that's a reason to not do it because everybody, there's an audience for everyone. I think not everyone vibes with that one person, so maybe somebody's out there waiting for you to show up.
Yeah, and I've learned that it's not necessarily about the size of your audience, like that. It actually doesn't matter at all. It's who are the 25 people that really resonate with you.
Right.
There's your people.
Yeah.
The rest are half in or half out, and what really counts is the few people that do resonate with you, and then that decide to work with you.
Yeah.
And you can have your fullest impact, and they can make their greatest gains by working with you because you're such a good match. So
Hmm.
my Reiki teacher taught me that a long time ago. She says, I hear people talk about this fear of too many Reiki practitioners, and she says there's no such thing. We live in an abundant universe, and there's always the right person for you. And so there's never a lack, there's always an abundance. And that was the
Yeah.
first time that I had heard someone say that. And it occurred to me like, oh, wow, there's never such a thing as too many whatevers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
That's
I
nice.
believed her and she was right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So
Okay, so is there anything that you want to talk about that you're working on now, that you have coming up, or?
so interesting you should ask. Yeah, I will actually tell a little bit. So when I started, I've grown a lot in the past year, a lot, and being away from um, a work environment where you go and work for someone else and do it the way they have it designed. Being away from that and working with myself and for myself, I've started to kind of bloom more. I would say I have been able to develop more as a person in the last year than I ever have in my life. And so what I've figured out in that blooming process was back in the beginning when I first opened my doors, and I just opened my doors in January officially. It was about a year ago unofficially from now. And I I was really hesitant, like I told you, to call myself a spiritual intuitive coach because I didn't want to push anyone away or scare anyone or this or that or the other. And, of course, I heard people say, oh, you need to niche down. That's important. Well, some of us just have to figure that out for ourselves. We're not totally willing to believe that.
Yeah.
And so I kept it very general. And I was really interested in working with women in transition. There's something I just love about transitions, something about being in the state of change that is really juicy. And there's so much in that can just there's so much potential and possibility depending on what we do with what's present, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really drawn to working with women in transition, and that was sort of how I positioned myself. But what I found was that I more specifically really wanted to work with the intuitive woman, the woman who's really aware of her intuition coming through and this inner pull, this drive to do something more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to pivot this summer. I had to. It was like, I've got to pivot. I have to work with this woman. Like, this woman is the one that I can really work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to make that pivot. And as I started to pivot, my own stuff really started to come in strong. And I'm talking about my own intuitive abilities. And you can call it psychic abilities. Really, psychic is just intuition trained, really. But
Mm-hmm.
everything started to really come in very strong. And I started doing readings for people for fun, like on the side type thing. And realized that, like, wow, this is really helpful for people. This is
Mm-hmm.
incredibly helpful because here's what I find happens when you do a reading for somebody. You're connecting your higher self to their higher self to get the reading, right? Well, of course you're going to validate their intuition because you're reading from their higher self. So
Mm-hmm.
I find that 99% of the time when I give someone a reading, it validates something that they already know is true. And when you can do that for somebody, oh my gosh, especially when you're a complete stranger. And I love to work with people that are just complete strangers where I know nothing. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can get the clearest information. And when you can validate the intuition that they've already had, boom, they start gathering more intuition. They start trusting it more and awakening it more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about it. And so I thought, this has to be part of my coaching practice. Like, that this specific idea of using a reading to help see where it connects the pieces for the person that I'm helping, and then coaching based off that is really awesome. It's so helpful, and I've been able to help people by doing that. It's awesome. So I created this great little kind of starter program, and golly, I've changed the name so many times, but it's on my Facebook page and it's on my website. I kind of premiere it as my spotlight package. It's a $99 package, and it's a steal because I send some prep materials out so that when we get together, we kind of already have a baseline for what's going on in the person's life. And then I do a reading to show the energies that are present. Typically, that's going to resonate with this person with something that they already know is going on for them. And then it's time to decide, okay, what's the most useful part of that to coach around for the session? And then the rest of the session is spent in the coaching session, and then taking away 1 to 2 action items. And we come back together in 2 weeks for a 30-minute follow-up session. And in that 2-week time period, the person has access to me via email. And I kind of help them do the things that will help develop them where they are at this time with their intuition. And so it's personalized, very much so. Like there's a structure, but it's personalized within that structure. So it's a great little program, and it's designed for one of 2 people, really. The person that just kind of needs a jump start, and like they just need that, and they get going, and they're like, good, I'm off and running. I'm good. Thanks. I appreciate the deal, and thank you. And then it's for the other person to kind of test out the waters and see if we're a good fit, if they like coaching at all. And then, maybe they get in there and they go, wow, this is great. And I can see the benefit, and I want to keep working together. And so then we design a longer package for that person, a 3 or 6 month package or something like that for that person. But that's kind of my favorite little deal that I have going on right now. And then the others, like I said, are the personalized packages. So.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah. So it's been really fun to pivot in this direction because it feels more at home for me. And it feels like the space where I best work with people and where I'm able to help them out most.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy for you that you're finally, in your happy place, I guess.
I am. I am. It's good. And I think it's so important for us to be true to ourselves. And sometimes it takes a minute to get there because we're scared to step out and say, I'm intuitive or whatever it is for you. But I think then once we set ourselves free, it's so much easier and better.
Yeah. What do you think it was for you? Were you afraid of people judging you, or people that you know, or maybe, I don't know?
Yeah. Afraid of the big old judgment. And, to be honest with you, when I think that, like, where did that come from? It's like, yeah, I've totally been made fun of before, and judged. And that's never easy, even as an adult. It's like, yeah. But now, like, being on my own, it's fine. I have to do my path, and I feel so much more free. And so then the more free I feel, the more that can develop for me. Like the more I own it and give it permission to be what it is, the more it comes through. And that's exactly what I love to help other people do. The same thing. Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to step into our truth and own it and be that.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I get excited. I get excited.
It is. It's exciting. It's exciting when somebody realizes, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it.
And I don't care if you tease me or not, and I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't really matter, because the people that I'm able to help, and the people, it's really about who resonates.
Yeah.
And that's what counts, is who resonates. It's like the people that walk off, it doesn't matter. They're not the ones for you anyhow. They're not your tribe. They're not your people. But the ones that stick around and go, yeah, I get it. I'm there too. Like, I totally get it. I resonate with this. And honestly, I've had that more than I've had any kind of rejection. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for really stepping into it and owning it and being like, you know what, this is how I'm built. This is what I'm built for. And here I am, love it or leave it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anywhere that you want to direct people to learn more about you and your business?
Well, I decided to keep it really simple when I started my business, and everything is just my full name, Brandy Moon Faven. So my Facebook page, my Instagram, my website is just my name. It's brandymoonfaven.com. And if you go on there, you can see my work with me page, my about me page. And I'm kind of in the middle of updating some things right now. So some things might be a little bit disheveled. I don't think it's too bad, but for me looking at it, I go, oh my gosh, this is disheveled. But it's probably not nearly as bad when someone else looks at it. But yeah, have a look and learn a little bit more about me, and shoot me a message. I have a contact me page. If anyone just wants to chat some more, maybe something I said resonated with you, something you're going through or whatever. I love connecting with people. Well, hence everything you said in the beginning, just connecting with people in the group and supporting other people on their path, even if it's just having a little coffee chat and talking over like what's going on for you right now. I love that so much.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, thank you once again, Brandy, for joining us or for being on here and letting us pick your brain.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity, Vivian. This has been wonderful, and it has been wonderful to have the time to get to know you. And I do hope that we can, I don't know, maybe collaborate on some more videos in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Likewise, it has been a pleasure. And thank you again for your patience and your support. It's been amazing working with you too.
Yeah, it has been. Certainly has.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, whoever's joining us, or if you're watching the replay, let us know. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Vivian. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Whether you joined us live, watched the replay, or listening to the recording, I hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for an announcement on when and who our next guest is going to be. You can keep in touch with us on Facebook. Just search for Women Entrepreneurs Sharing Their Journeys. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Bye.